Hi there, my name is Gretchen Asher, and I've been a change management consultant for nearly 3 decades, consulting to Fortune 500 companies. And in 2024, I took a lovely tumble down the AI rabbit hole, and I went to AI school. And what came out of it was I have developed an AI stakeholder management and change impacts assessment tool for the change management industry, and particularly for change managers to utilize to help speed up the process of stakeholder assessment. And this tool is change management methodology agnostic. So I want to do a quick demo. And my company is called Change Essentials AI, and the tool itself is called the Change Impacts Navigator. It's very simple, easy for data upload, and what it does is it takes current state information and future state information, just documented in an Excel spreadsheet, and it will give you, number one, a workflow diagram of what current state looks like and of what future state looks like if you have both sets of information. And it will outline the visual workflow for each of the parties or each of the participants in that particular workflow that you're assessing. And it also then compares current state and future state, and it identifies what are the change impacts by job role in that workflow, and it categorizes them into 3 categories. So it will outline the tasks that will be going away that someone in a particular job role in that workflow does today, but they won't need to do in the future. It will outline what stays the same, what tasks do those participants do today that will stay the same, they will do tomorrow. And the 3rd category is what's going to be completely new by job role for each of those participants in that workflow. And it does it in seconds. And this is a big sticking point for those of you who know stakeholder assessment and analysis is so important. It really does shape the entire change management strategy. It shapes how you engage stakeholders to help them prepare for the change and to ensure a higher adoption rate, thus providing the project and the client or your organization with a higher ROI for the project. And typically what we see is we spend so much time on the assessment work that we never quite have enough time for the engagement with the stakeholders as we would like it to be. With this tool and with the power of AI, that gets flipped on its head. The assessment, it can take seconds, and then you have a longer amount of time to actually engage with your impacted users to help them understand how the change will affect their workflow and their daily tasks when they go live or when the change goes into effect. And some real world benefits of this tool that we've tested on live projects is it clearly speeds up the stakeholder assessment time, freeing time for you as the change practitioner to spend more time in engagement, more time working with leaders to help them understand how their teams will be affected. It really is such a huge value for that. And since you can start working with impacted users and leadership, you will uncover any particular resistance very early on instead of too close to go live. And it also can provide for you as a change practitioner to actually provide a higher level of service to your project. What we can do with the Change Impacts Navigator is you can run multiple possible scenarios. If the project team is considering more than one option for configuration and they're wondering which way to go, you can run scenarios through the tool to see how it impacts critical high priority stakeholder groups. And another benefit, of course, is AI is here. It is about time we change practitioners really embed this in the tools and in the methodologies that we employ when we work with our organizations and our clients. So AI is here, and it is a perfect marriage for change management. And I'll give you a demo in just a second. So to set up this demo, I want to show you what data goes into the Change Impacts Navigator. And this is a simple spreadsheet. As you can see, tab 1 is details of the current state of whatever workflow you're assessing, and tab 2 is the future state. And column A lists all the roles in that workflow. And let's say for this example, and this is a fictitious example, but let's just say we are looking at this impacts talent acquisition. Currently, the process of hiring a new employee is pretty manual. And let's say this change is that this company is implementing a new ERP system that will really transform the way employees are hired. So, and I'm going to say again, this is a fictitious example I put together, but what you see in column A, these are the roles involved in the talent acquisition process of hiring a new employee. And in this case, you've basically got 3 roles. You've got the hiring manager who initiates the process, you've got talent acquisition representative, and you've got the candidate. So this is a simple step-by-step in this Excel spreadsheet. What does the hiring manager do? List all the steps to the current process. Super simple. And let's say the new system has already been configured and you have future state. Then you do the same thing for future state. You work with your subject matter experts to determine what are the future state steps. So, and again, it starts with hiring manager, but you see in the future state, we have 4 participant roles instead of just 3. And this includes the new system, and I just called it XYZ system. So this is the data that goes into the Change Impacts Navigator, and I just wanted to show you what this is comprised of. Very easy to collect when you work with your subject matter experts. Okay, so here we are inside the dashboard of the tool of the Change Impacts Navigator. Now I'm just going to take that spreadsheet that you saw and I'm just going to drop it in here. Oh, and I'm going to name it. Let's say demo 1 hiring an employee. So you name it, you drop this spreadsheet in, and then you tell the tool what you want it to do. If you click just this first one, then it will give you a visual diagram of the current state, and that's all you get. If you click the second one, it will give you both a visual diagram of current state and future state, but you really want to check all 3. And the third category here is it will do the analysis to identify the change impacts for each of those roles in that workflow between current and future state. So I'm clicking all 3 and I'm starting to process, and it's doing its thing. And it's very quick. It doesn't take long at all. All right, and I didn't even pause, right? Okay, so now here's what it's done. Here's the current state, future state, and the change impacts are over here. But let me show you what you have. It has documented the current state workflow from the Excel spreadsheet. And we can zoom in here, and you can zoom in and you see hiring manager, all the steps in their workflow, talent acquisition, all the steps in their workflow, and candidate, what are the steps that the candidate goes through in today's world. Same thing, it produces the same thing for future state. And you can expand this, and I'm going to show you what else happens with it. And now you see hiring manager, XYZ system, because we'll just put a blank name there, talent acquisition and candidate. So you've got an instant flow chart of current state and future state. Now let's take a look at the change impacts. Remember I said it'll categorize the change impacts into 3 areas. For each job role, what is going away? What does that role do today that they won't have to do in the future? What stays the same, meaning the tasks remain the same between current and future state? And what are those tasks that will be completely new that one of the job roles or the job roles don't do today, but they will have to do in the future? So you can filter by one role. You can filter by any role, or you can look at all roles. Now, also what you can do, and this is where you as the experienced change manager, your knowledge of the organization, your knowledge of the stakeholder groups, this really comes into play. AI doesn't know your gut feel and what you know. However, you can move these around. Let's say there's a task that actually is the same. And I'm looking at talent acquisition, like coordinate interview schedules. Well, it technically is a task they do in both current state and future state, but they might do it, they're going to do it differently in the future state because they're going to do it in a system. You can move this over. Let's say you really are more comfortable if it shows up in the future state or what's completely new. So you can actually move these items into the different categories based on what you know is best. Okay, now, and then you can save the changes. And by pressing here, okay, so you've seen how you can move these tasks into different buckets if you'd like. Now, here's what you get in the download. Now you see here, I only have talent acquisition selected. So if I were to download this, I would get the current state and future state flowcharts, all of it. And I would only get these 3 categories for talent acquisition. So you need to go, if you've moved around the dashboard by role, go back up here and click all roles. And then you will want to download this into a PowerPoint format by clicking download. Now you can download by job role. In this case, I just did it all. And it will also give you the current state diagram in its full form, although it's kind of small. But then the tool also breaks it out into, so it fits onto separate slides. If you want it to be large, you can put it on a wall. But you get all of current state, same with future state. You get a small full flow of the future state diagram, and it's broken out to fit onto PowerPoint slides. So it's sized to fit that. And now here we are with the change impacts. And in this case, I've downloaded all the roles for the change impacts, and it's done the analysis between current state and future state for each job role, what goes away, what stays the same, and what's completely new. And this goes down into an unbranded PowerPoint deck. It goes through all the job roles, candidate, hiring manager, XYZ system. There is no current state, so XYZ system tasks go to the future state, as in what's completely new. And what I would recommend here is that you copy and paste these categories into your company or your client's branded deck. And this is where you need to add color as a change manager. The tool took this from the spreadsheet that you uploaded into the tool, and it didn't have a lot of explanation or a lot of extra verbiage in that spreadsheet, if you remember. So this is your opportunity to download these, put them in your template, your deck, and really expound on them. You want to be able to give more information, deeper information than just several bullet points, and break these out into full sentences and really think about how do you want to word these so that your impacted stakeholders really understand what's changing for them, and hold workshops with impacted stakeholder groups, hold workshops with their frontline leaders and as well as their senior leaders. So enjoy, and thank you for watching this demo, and let me know what questions you have.